Abraham Golonsky.
Here.
Yes, here.
Aaron Rendon.
Present.
Vanessa Castillo.
Here.
And Mr. Ronald Mills.
Here.
Thank you.
Just so you know,
We would like to remind everyone to please mute your mics. Mr. Derek Benavides, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. I just couldn't get the unmute button quick enough.
Mr. Ruben Odell, are you on the call? This is a notice of a public meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville. Teleconference open meeting. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, has scheduled a regular meeting on Thursday, June 18th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. via WebEx teleconference meeting by logging on at the link below. Our meeting number and password are below as well. This notice and meeting agenda are posted online on the City of Brownsville website under the Agenda Center tab. The members of the public wishing to participate in the meeting may telephone in by the phone number listed on the agenda as well. Members of the public who submitted a public comment form will be permitted to offer their public comments. And a recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Nada más para recordarles que esta es una junta pública. Si están participando, por favor, apaguen sus micrófonos, porque ahorita se escucha mucho ruido. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Mills?
Okay.
You are very far. We can't hear you, Mr. Mills.
Oh, he's muted. His mic is muted. Mr. Mills, your mic is currently muted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Try it again. All everybody could rise, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Under
with
God,
liberty and
indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
We now move on to item number 2, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting from March 5th, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Who is that?
Troy Whitman.
Aaron Rendon, I second that motion.
I have a motion for Mr. All in favor?
Aye.
Compared to Derek, you call back on your phone.
My apologies. We did skip item number 1, updates and comments.
That would be from your end. I'm not sure of any updates.
Yes, good afternoon, Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Minor updates, just want to let the Planning and Zoning Commission know that we are still working on our Unified Development Code. We're still meeting with the consultant, Friesen Nichols. An update on our commercial ordinance. The consolidation of our ordinance was approved by City Commission, and as of now, we only have C1 for light commercial district and C2 for heavy commercial district, as opposed to the 7 different commercial zoning districts that we had. And that just makes it a little bit easier for developers and streamlines the process that we didn't have in the past. We also are working with residential code, and you should see that at your next P&Z meeting.
Thank you.
Item 2.
Yes, and on this next coming up, item number 4, that will require no action from the board. It would not be heard by the board. We can move forward with the public hearing section.
Thank you. Whatever the next.
Public hearings. Item number 3, public hearing and action, Razaka View subdivision, final plat.
The Saka view is completed and staff recommends approval.
I need a motion from the board for approval.
I make a motion to approve.
I will, I'll second that.
Anybody opposed? And you speak.
Can we please have that repeated? We were unable to hear who made the motion and who seconded the motion.
The second was
I
Vanessa.
make a motion to approve. Troy Whittemore.
I second the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Derek, if you can hear me, you have a lot of wind feedback. Every time you turn on, you drown out the meeting. So you might need to relocate. Go ahead to the next item, please.
Public hearing item number 4, public hearing and action, Peralta Development Subdivision, final plat.
No action needed from the board. We can move on to number 5.
Okay. Number 5, please.
Item number 5, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-007 to rezone from dwelling DZ to light commercial C1 for lots 14 and 15, block 103, Olmito Original Town Site, Cameron County, Texas, located at 7475 South Frontage Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78575.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from dwellings D district to C1 light commercial district for a daycare center. The property is currently located at 7475 South Frontage Road. Adjacent zoning is C1 light commercial district to the north, east, and south. Next slide, please. C2 heavy commercial district to the east, and dwelling Z in all directions, and that's just the area of the subject property. Next slide. The surrounding land uses are single-family residences, apartments, retail businesses, institutional uses, and vacant land. Next slide, please. Staff did not receive any written opposition. 16 mailouts were sent out. The request is consistent with the future land use plan. Next slide, please. That's another aerial view of the bird eye view of the property. Next slide. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request. I'm available for any questions at this time.
All right, everyone, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody that put in a request to speak in this?
I make a motion to close public hearing.
I have a motion to close from Troy.
I second that motion, Aaron Rondon.
Okay. A motion and a second to close public hearing. All in favor?
Aye. Make
All
a
right.
motion to approve.
I have a motion from Troy to approve.
I second the motion, Aaron Rondon.
From Troy, a second from Aaron. All in favor for approval? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 6, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-009 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to dwelling G, DG, a 0.17 acre tract out of the northwest corner of a certain 0.73 acre tract of the map of subdivision of west part of acreage blocks number 3 and 8 in the city of Brownsville, Texas, located at 624 Brownie Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from dwelling A district to dwelling G district for a proposed duplex. Again, the property is located at 624 Brownie Street. Adjacent zoning is apartment district to the north, south, and west, and C1 light commercial district, and dwelling in all directions. Surrounding land uses are single-family residences, apartments, general commercial businesses, a medical center, and vacant land. Next slide, please. Area of the subject property, showing the surrounding uses. Zoning, next slide. No opposition was received and 16 ballots were sent out to the surrounding property owners. Next slide. Bird's eye view of the property. You'll see some apartment units on site, or around the site, I'm sorry. Next slide. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff recommends approval of the rezoning requests. Available for any questions at this time.
Anybody out there that wants to make public comment?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Have a motion to close from Troy.
I second the motion to close the public hearing.
Is it? Right. That was Aaron, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Have a second from Aaron. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. In motion to approve or
I motion to approve.
okay. And who were those? Did Troy make a motion to approve? Who made the second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Vanessa second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 7, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-010 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to dwelling G, DG for Lot 13, Block 2, Brownsville Country Club Subdivision, Section 3, Cameron County, Texas, located at 74 Villa Franca Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78526.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from dwelling A district to dwelling G district for a proposed carport at 74 Villa Franca Street. According to the applicant, the proposed carport will be located on the south side yard only. The current side yard setback is 5.5 feet for dwelling A. Dwelling G requires a setback of 3.5 feet. Adjacent zoning is C1 light commercial district to the east and dwelling A in all directions. Surrounding land uses are single family residential and the hike and bike trail. Next slide, please. This is the area view of the property. Surrounding uses are mostly all single family residences, a zoning map area as well. Next slide. We sent out a total of 15 ballots. No opposition was received to planning staff. Next slide.
Does staff recommend?
What this is a bird's eye view at the moment, the subject property. The request is consistent with the future land use plan for residential use. However, it is not consistent with the adjacent zoning and the residential uses since there are no carports in the surrounding area. Planning staff, like I said earlier, did not receive any opposition. Next slide, please. At this time, staff recommends disapproval of the rezoning request. I'm available for any questions at this time.
Does staff recommend? I misunderstood.
No, it says
Staff
staff does not
recommends
recommend.
disapproval of the rezoning request.
All right.
Okay.
I expect that some of these people are in the background here are probably waiting to talk on this. Does anybody have any comment on this one?
¿Hay
No
alguna
public-
persona que quisiera hablar sobre este caso?
That surprises me. Okay. All right then.
I did speak to the applicant, and she mentioned she was gonna be part of the meeting, so I'm not sure what happened there.
That's fine.
I do have my phone number, but I haven't received any calls either.
Okay. So your reason for denial is just because there's no neighboring units to do the same thing? Is that the primary reason?
Yeah, the primary zone is dwelling A. No other property has that zoning, and there are no other carports in the surrounding area. Not consistent.
Good afternoon. This is Mr. Contreras. I'm so sorry. I was trying to figure this out. I'm on the phone. This is Mr. Contreras, one of the owners of the house.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I able to speak?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a carport. We're just trying to extend basically the ceiling to cover the cars. And we have already some a platform, and it's just to cover because I have three kids who all of them drive, and due to the circumstances of the weather, sometimes it's raining here, sometimes also the sun is affecting the vehicles. I have a garage which has for a capacity of 2 vehicles. However, one is for my wife, the other one's for my daughter, and me and my 2 sons are the ones that have to park outside. So that's why we were requesting this zoning request.
Okay. All right, sir. So, but there are, you concur there are no other additions and or carports on any of the homes in your block?
Not carports. No, they're not carports. Additions, yes. My neighbor in the front, he made an addition to his 2-car garage, and he made it into 3. This is on. It's right in front of me. It's the White House. I don't know if you are able to see it. Let me just give you the number. I'm so sorry. I don't have the number, and I can't see the number.
That's fine.
It's 45 Villafranca. 45
Okay.
Villafranca. So
Will we be able
basically,
to go
that's
back
what
to
I'm
the
trying
previous slide?
There you go. See, he did his addition to the front, it looks like. Okay.
Yes, it's 45 Villafranca.
Yes. Okay. All right, sir. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for the gentleman?
I'm looking at from that map right there, though, the house that's directly across looks like it's in line with the other setbacks of the houses next to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, if they did add on, it doesn't look like they added on beyond the setback.
No, I would agree with you.
So planning staff did go out to the site and also drove around the subdivision, the neighborhood. There were no other carports in the front yard setback. I will note to the board that they're requesting a carport for the side yard setback.
Yes, understand.
However, if the zoning is approved to dwelling G permits a carport in the front yard setback. So if it's approved, whether it be a year from now or new owner or what have you, a carport would be allowed in the front yard by right.
Yes. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for the gentleman or the staff? Need a motion to close?
Motion to close public hearing, Aaron Rendon.
Second from Derek Benavides.
Have a motion and a second to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Any other? Need a vote or a nomination, excuse me?
Motion to support staff's recommendation to deny.
That's Derek. Okay. We have a
I second the
motion to
motion.
deny. I didn't hear that. Who was that?
Galowski.
I couldn't hear who that
I'm
was.
sorry.
Mr. Galonsky.
Mr. Galonsky, second. Okay. All right. We have a motion to
second the
seconds.
motion,
Mr. Galonsky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries to deny the change of zone. Next up, please.
Item number 8, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-013 to rezone from dwelling G, DG, light commercial C1 to apartment A for 3.851 acres of land, more or less comprised of all of Lot 5 and a portion of Lot 6, Block FF, Brownsville Land and Improvement Company subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located on Media Luna Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from dwelling G district to C1 light commercial district to, I'm sorry. Yes, it's combined, it's dual zoning. So it's going from dwelling G district and C1 light commercial district to apartment district. The property is located on the southwest corner of Media Luna and Korea Street. Adjacent zoning, next slide please. Adjacent zoning is apartment district to the north, 7C and light industrial district to the east, apartment district to the south, dwelling A district to the west, and C1 light industrial district in all directions. Next slide, please. That's the subject property aerial showing you the surrounding zonings. You'll see some apartment uses to the south and to the northeast. Next slide. It's a map of the adjacent zoning. Next slide. A total of 17 ballots were sent out. No opposition was received by planning staff. Next slide. It's a bird's eye view of the subject property, surrounded by apartment uses. And based on that information, staff recommends approval of the rezoning request. Next slide.
Okay. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Anybody have any comments on this particular project?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Francisco Orozco. It's good to see you all, and I hope you all are staying safe. I represent the owner, De Luna Plata LLC. I won't take much of your time. We're simply asking that this be rezoned. This is going to be part of a determination certificate case, which is item number 15 on your agenda. As staff mentioned, we have apartments to the north and immediately south. To the right of the subject property, or the east side of the property, you have what is the actual golf range. So we just asked for the staff's or for the commission support and to approve this rezoning. It's going to be an apartment for a retirement community. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr.
Nope.
I'll make a
And if
motion
not, I'll
to
make-
close public. This is Derek Benavides.
Okay, I have a
Second
motion.
motion, Aaron Rendon.
I have a second. Aaron, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve. Troy,
Second.
Okay, Troy makes a motion to approve,
I'll second that.
and Vanessa seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, please.
Item number 9, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-014 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to dwelling G, DG for Lot 23, Block 1, Colonia Acacia subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 3135 Palo Blanco Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78521.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from dwelling A district to dwelling G district to construct a duplex. The property is located at 3135 Palo Blanco Street. Adjacent zoning is dwelling A, H, G, and J, and C1 light commercial district in all directions. Next slide, please. Surrounding land uses are single-family residences, duplexes, institutional uses, retail businesses, and vacant land. Next slide, please. Map of our adjacent zoning. Next slide. A total of 33 ballots were sent out. Staff did not receive any opposition. Bird's eye view of the property. The request is consistent with the future land use plan, and based on that information, staff recommends approval of the rezoning requests. Available for any questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this public hearing. Does anybody have anything to say on this project?
Eddie Lucia here on behalf of the applicant. Like the staff said, we're basically trying to put up a duplex. We're asking that the commission approve the staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Troy.
I make a motion to close the public hearing. Troy Whitmore.
I second Troy's motion. Aaron Rendon.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Move to
Any
approve.
opposed? I have a motion to approve from Troy.
Second from Derek Benavides.
I didn't hear you, Dick. What'd you say?
I second that motion.
Okay, have a second from Derek. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Any opposed? Next item, please.
Item 10.
Item number 10, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-015 to rezone from dwelling G, DG, and to light commercial C1 for Lot 26, Palmas del Sur subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 15 Esperanza Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78521.
Good evening, everyone, commissioners. So this property, they're looking to basically upzone. They're going from dwelling to light commercial. This property is 0.1148 acres. The proposed use is for a commercial establishment. It is fronting Esperanza Road. Next slide. An aerial view of the property. As you can see, it's near the frontage of the southmost road. There is a lot of commercial business. There's also single-family homes to the south, north, and west. And there is a civic institution to the southeast. Next slide. This is a zoning map. The predominant zoning is dwelling. There is also light commercial and heavy commercial within the vicinity of the property. Next slide. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 29 mailouts and 0 written opposition. Next slide. This is an aerial view. Next slide. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff does recommend approval to rezone from dwelling G to light commercial C1.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Does anybody online have any comment? Troy, somebody?
Motion to close public hearing. Derek Benavides.
I have a motion to close from Derek. A second from.
Second by Troy.
Okay. A second by Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Action.
Motion to approve.
Move to
Derek
approve.
Bettis.
Okay, I have a motion from Derek to approve and a second from Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Motion carried. Before we continue, there's somebody with the name Joe Garcia on the phone who keeps talking on. Do you have a particular case you're waiting on, or have we already heard it?
Yes, we're waiting on number 13.
Okay. Thank you, man. I just saw you and I didn't want to be there forever. Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Can we ask that the Joe Garcia computer mute their mic, please?
It's on mute.
No, ma'am. I keep muting your line and you're unmuting it.
It's on mute right now.
You shouldn't be able to talk to it. There you go. Now it's muted. Okay. All right, go ahead. Next item, please.
Item number 11, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-016S to allow an event center in light commercial C1 for 1.18 acres more or less out of blocks 29 and 29A, Los Ebanos Property Subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 813 Innes Line Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78521.
All right, so as I mentioned, this property is in light commercial C1 use district. This property has 1.18 acres. It is fronting Paredes Line Road. It's also near the intersection of Price Road. The request is to allow an event center in the mentioned zoning use district. Next slide. This is an aerial view of the property. In every direction, there's commercial businesses. There is also a BISD office, and there is a civic institution, Hannah High School, to the east. Next slide. This is a zoning map. As you can see, there's a variety of different zonings. There is light commercial use district as well as heavy commercial. There is also light industrial and medium industrial, and also residential. Next slide. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 18 mailouts and 0 written opposition. Next slide. This is an aerial view of the property. Next slide. This is the proposed site plan. Next slide. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff does recommend the approval of the specific use permit to allow an event center in light commercial C1 with the condition that the property must comply with all regulations as determined through the site plan review process.
And did BISD or anybody answer back in opposition?
No, sir. We did not receive any opposition.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, public hearing. Anybody have any comment?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion from Troy.
I will second Troy's motion, I'm sorry.
Okay, second from Aaron. All in favor?
Aye.
Action?
Move to approve.
Second, Ruben Obel.
Move to.
Okay, I have a second from Ruben, a motion from Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Public hearing item number 12, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-017 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to dwelling G, DG for lots 39 and 41 Bates Circle Homesite Subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 48 Soto Drive, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
So the applicant is looking to just change the area district on the property. They're going from A to G. The use district is to remain the same as dwelling. This property has 0.26 acres. The proposed use is a carport. They're basically going to be reducing the setbacks to allow it. This property is fronting on Soto Drive. Next slide. The predominant predominant use within the area is single-family residence. To the north, there's a flea market. Across the expressway, there's some undeveloped land, as well as the Driscoll Children's Hospital. Next slide, please. The predominant zoning is dwelling. There is also some apartment zoning, like commercial and heavy commercial, and also light industrial. Next slide. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 18 mailouts and 0 written opposition. Next slide. This is an aerial view of the property. As you can see, the predominant uses single-family residences, but staff does want to point out that along Soto Drive, we did count 12 carports. Next slide. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff recommends approval to rezone from dwelling A to dwelling G.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. Anybody have any comments on this one?
Motion to close public hearing.
Have a motion from Aaron to close.
I'll second that.
Vanessa, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Action.
Motion to approve, Derek Benitez.
Okay, I have a motion from Derek to approve.
I'll second Derek's motion. Aaron
Okay,
Rendon.
Aaron seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next.
Item number 13, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-018 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to apartment A for Lot 1, Jenkins subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 1305 Bernard Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
So for this particular case, the applicant is wanting to upzone from dwelling to apartment. This property has 0.225 acres. The proposed use is for apartments. They're proposing 4 units. This property is fronting Bernard Road. Staff does want to point out that this case or the applicant had previously applied for a rezoning back around August of last year, where it was approved by Planning and Zoning Commission, but then denied by City Commission. Next slide. This is an aerial view of the property. The predominant use is single-family residence. There is also an apartment complex directly across the street from the property, across from Bernard. Next slide. The predominant zoning, as you can see, is dwelling. There is also apartment zoning and light commercial. Next slide. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 25 mailouts and 1 written opposition. Next slide. This was a protested case. It did exceed the 20% threshold. So in order to be approved, it will need the supermajority vote. Next slide. This is an aerial view of the property. Again, predominant use is single-family residence. Next slide. The applicant did send us this proposed layout of their project. They're proposing 4 2-story units. Next slide. Although the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, staff does not recommend the approval based on the surrounding zoning that predominates as single-family dwelling. So we do not recommend the rezoning from dwelling A to apartments.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's at least one person waiting to make comment on this. Joe Garcia, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, I didn't hear I didn't understand the last words you said. That you're recommending for them to build apartments or what?
No, he said he did not recommend building apartments.
Okay. Excuse me. Yes, again, with the pictures that you show, the lot, it shows real big. And then they keep bringing up that there's apartments across the street. The lot is twice as big. Is that is a lot where they want to build these apartments. Now, again, this lot, the size of this lot is just for a single home resident. It's just for a single home family resident. That's it. It's just too small for apartments.
Besides, it's right on Boca Chica. It's a very high traffic area. There's a stoplight there at that corner. And in the past, there's been several accidents in that particular corner.
Okay. Thank you.
Can we please request that when people speak, if they can state their name for the record? Thank you.
Yes, my husband is Joe Garcia and I'm Diana Garcia. My husband is the owner of the property right across that particular property. Ours is on 1168 Boca Chica.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
My name is Terry Avalos. I also would like to make a comment. First of all, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak. We submitted some information and some signatures. We are the residents of the Jenkins subdivision, and we request that you please reject the proposal for a build-out of apartments. We would like to maintain the integrity of a residential neighborhood. The Jenkins subdivision is not a commercial area. The area is too small for apartments. The building of apartments will increase the traffic to an area that is already saturated with traffic. We are counting on you to maintain the zones that have been put in place to keep the area residential in nature and maintain the integrity it has had for many years. We encourage you, the developer, of course, to find another location for the rental properties, but not our subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else online for this?
This is Karen Quesada from 1315 Bernard Road. I would like to state that I totally wholeheartedly support what Mr. and Mrs. Garcia and Ms. Terry is stating. It should be a single home family, and there is more than enough traffic already. We don't need more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Can we speak?
Yeah.
I would also like to make a public comment.
Yes.
I'm opposed to the plan to build apartments on the corner of Bernard. The area is a residential area and not for apartment. I ask that you could take that into consideration, all the signatures from the owners who oppose the building.
All right.
Can we get your name, please, sir?
Dante Avalos.
Okay.
Okay, so it's from the same house.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am. Need to
Hi.
state your name?
Yes, my name is Denise Mercado, and this is my husband, Daniel Martinez. We are the owners of 1305 Bernard, and we have been getting signatures, and I believe they just put up the list of the signatures that we did get. There's 22 signatures in total. Previously, it had gone through this meeting, and we...
Previously, it was approved by the previous zoning and planning committee. They were initially, our submission was for five units. The zoning and planning did approve for 4 units. So we went ahead and made those modifications. We were following the ordinance of the city of no exits out of Boca Chica, only an exit through Bernard Street. There is a street light there.
They just put that street light not too long ago to help with traffic.
No, that street has been on there for years.
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia, this is not a typical meeting, so we can't talk all over the top of each other. So wait until Ms. Mercado finishes, please. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We've been there on on Bernard Street getting signatures because we work, after 5, we're getting signatures. And yeah, on Boca Chica, there's traffic. There's cars. But on Bernard Street, there's no buildup of traffic. So, even though as it is, we can build 2 units the way the rules are. So we're just asking for 2 more cars.
For 2 more units.
For 2 more
The
units.
city does let us put 2 units there. So we're asking for 2 more. There's been control over this piece of land for quite a while. That's why this land has been vacant for forever. Till today, it's still vacant because they want to put a single family home there, but it's not going for single family. Even the previous owners that owned this land, they had to resell because, Mesavalos and some of the neighbors, they are completely against, and they want to just put a single family. They want it their way. But we're the owners and we've been working hard for this. We do have signatures, as you can see. They're the only ones that are here in the meeting, but we have 22 signatures in total, so that means something. So we're asking for the opportunity to go to the next meeting so we can do something with this land. We don't have the luxury just to sit in this land and not do anything about it. We have to keep going.
Previously, as Martin mentioned, yes, the city commission did deny it, but the reason why it was primarily denied was because we didn't reach out to the community. We made that mistake. But this time around, we went around, spoke to our surrounding neighbors. We explained to them what we wanted to do. Their concerns were the traffic. Their concerns were that it was going to be housing. It's not housing. So
there's 2 parking spaces per unit. We have more than 30% of green grassy areas. Our architect made the picture, and by blowing it up, we have to fall within the regulations of the city. We're not just going to put squares just in a piece of land. It fits. Look at the plan. We've done our homework.
All right, thank you.
All we ask is for zoning and planning to please give us the opportunity to present this to the city commission so we can show them that we did reach out to the neighborhood and we did get approvals. We got several signatures that are actually for us building these apartments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I motion to close the public hearing. Aaron Rendon.
I'll second that motion.
Second from Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Martin, a couple of questions to you. One, you said that the staff does not support. Why again does the staff not support?
Based on the single-family nature of the area, we believe it's not adequate for this particular subdivision.
Was the Martinez, Mr. Martinez's comment that it is already capable of having a duplex built there? Is that a correct statement?
Yes, because the duplex is still considered as a residential development. It's only 2 units.
I just want to clarify that. So, okay. And the other one was the other question. Oh, and can you reaffirm why City Commission shot it down?
Yes.
Signatures, because of the signatures.
So I want to hear from our staff because they're.
Sorry.
Pass it on.
Yes, Mr. Mosco, can you repeat your question?
I said, can you verify why the City Commission shot it down after we approved it last time?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
I said, can you reaffirm why the City Commission voted against it after we approved it?
Oh, okay. So it was based on the written protest that was also submitted at City Commission previously, and they were also looking at the surrounding uses. So they based it also on the single family predominance and the written opposition.
Okay. And my last question is, and because I don't remember, it's been too long. If we were to approve it, then that we already know that the locals can file a protest. If we disapprove it, can the Martinez's still go before the city?
Again, you're breaking up, Mr. Mose. If you approve it, can they?
If we approve it, we already know that the local citizens can protest to the city or file an appeal to the city, and they'll be heard. If we disapprove it, can the Martinez's file an appeal and still be heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
They would have
that's
to file an appeal and it would move forward.
okay. Fine, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the board, I need a motion.
I want to make a motion to approve it. Aaron Rendon.
I'll
Okay.
second that motion, Derek Benavides.
So I have a motion to approve by Aaron, a second by Derek. I want everybody to do an individual vote, please. Troy, what do you vote?
I oppose.
Okay. Mr. G, what's your plan? You for it or against it? Mr. Galansky, are you still there? Okay, I don't hear Mr. Galansky any further. How about you, Vanessa?
I oppose it as well.
Okay, so I have 2 for it and 2 against it. I'm gonna vote for it myself, so that'll be 3-2. Mr. Galansky, are you there? I don't know Mr. Galansky any longer, so that's
Mr. Mills, I just want to point out that this is a written protested case.
Correct.
We do need the super majority.
That's correct. I understand that. You're not gonna get that, so. It will be taken for reviewed, brought back before us again. Right. So with that motion, 3-2, we're going to have to consider it that it's not a supermajority and it'll have to be brought before us again or tabled, whatever going to be done. I'm not sure how the city handles it.
So in this case, since it wasn't a supermajority, it would fail to be approved.
That's right. That's right. So the Martinez's will have to file paperwork to see what they can do. So.
Hello?
Yes.
So I'm sorry. So was it approved or
No,
was it
not approved? There wasn't enough people voted for it or against it, so it's not. It's dead in the water where it's at. You'll need to go back to the planning commission and go from there. Thank you.
Thanks.
To clarify, that it did not receive the supermajority vote, therefore it's denied. The only option left would be to appeal the case.
Correct.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item number 14, public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2020-903 to rezone from dwelling Z, DZ to light industrial J, 7CJ for an approximate 309.12 acres, more or less, out of a 477-acre tract out of Leven J. Van Riet acre tract. Save and accept a 24.493 acre tract, more or less, out of the same Leven J. Van Riet tract, Cameron County, Texas, located near FM 511, Brownsville, Texas, 78526.
You still there, Martin?
I apologize, I was on mute. So this is a city initiated case that is being led by GBIC. They are looking to upzone the property from dwelling to light industrial. They are also changing the area district from Z to J. This property has approximately 309.12 acres. The proposed use is a fiberglass container production facility. This property is fronting FM 511. Next slide. So this is a narrow view of the property. As you can see, the southern portion of it would be the one that's being rezoned. Next slide. So currently, the northern portion of it has a light industrial zoning. They just want to make it consistent throughout. The predominant zoning of the properties is dwelling. There is also light and heavy commercial. There is also medium commercial, light industrial and medium industrial. Next slide. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 24 mailouts and 0 written opposition. Next slide. Here's a bird eye view of the property. Next slide. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff recommends approval to rezone from dwelling Z to light industrial J.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is anybody left out there that wants to make a comment?
Motion to close public comment. Derek Benavides.
I'll second that.
Okay. A motion from Derek, second from Vanessa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Action.
Aaron Rendon.
What'd you say, Aaron? I didn't hear.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Approval for Aaron.
I'll second that.
A second from Vanessa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carried. The last one, please.
Item number 15, public hearing and action on D-20-011-G to appeal the denial of a determination certificate for 3.851 acres comprised of all of Lot 5 and a portion of Lot 6, Block FF, Brownsville Land and Improvement Company subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located near the intersection of Media Luna Road and Coria Street, Brownsville, Texas, 78520.
Okay, so if you recall earlier from this meeting, this property is in the corner of Media Luna Road and Coria Street. They are looking to build apartments. Unfortunately, this property is not platted. The applicant did apply for a determination certificate, which was denied, and therefore they're appealing the decision. Next slide. So just an overview of the process. Owner submits, staff reviews. If approved, the certificate is issued, or if denied, the decision can be appealed with the Planning and Zoning Board, or the other option would be to hire an engineer to plat the property. Next slide. So the authority is given by the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 212, which requires for properties that are going to be developed to be legally platted, or to go through an alternative, which is the determination certificate. Next slide. So this property was going through the grandfather exception. Basically, what this requires is that the boundary of the property cannot change from September 1st, 1995 until present day. Next slide. So here's an overview of the property. Next slide. The denial was based on the northernmost portion of the property. There was a change in configuration through a deed from 1999, in which the 0.217 acre tract, which was previously recorded as a canal easement, was then reincorporated. It was the rights of the property were given back to the property owner, and that's how the 3.815 acre came about. So since there was a change, that's the reason why staff denied, or yes, denied the determination certificate.
Okay. So basically, you're telling us because the state or somebody gave that right away back to the owner, that's why. And since that's why it couldn't be approved. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody have any opposition? I don't believe there will be any.
Nope. I do not. I am not opposed, but I am here on behalf of the owners. Again, this is Frank Orozco. Commissioners, as we've dealt with determination certificates before when I was on the planning and zoning, I have a fundamental disagreement with the way that the staff sees this. I would like to share my screen. I don't know if that is possible. If it is, I'd be happy to do so. But the canal easement that they're talking about that was reverted it actually used to belong to the city. The way that this property is currently cut out, or at least shaped, it's been that way since 1979. There was a deed that was done back then that essentially gave up lot 5 and 6, and it retained a certain portion of lot 6 that is stated as lying north and west of a main canal running across the northwest corner of said lot 6. That was how it was described in 1979. It subsequently passed hands about 3 times till around 1993, and the property was always described as such. In 1993, it was actually passed over to a gentleman named Antonio Martinez, who may or may not be our ex-mayor. I'm not being facetious, I just don't know that. But at that time, he finally had the property surveyed, and it made the 3.85 acre tract that you see. Right before he sold it in 1999, the city had a meeting, and they did a quitclaim deed where they passed the canal easement and the right-of-way appurtenant to that easement back to Mr. Martinez. Now, my fundamental disagreement is that what they gave back to Mr. Martinez was a right-of-way easement and a canal easement. Those are not physical boundaries. They're just rights to be able to cross on and over the land. So realistically, the property has been in its current shape and condition since 1979. In 1999, they finally did a meets and bounds, which is exactly what you see today. That property's been surveyed, it's been sold and gone through title companies, and the actual physical portion of the property has never changed. It's just that in 1999, the city gave away their right to have an easement on the property back. So that's where we disagree with the city, in the sense that the boundaries have never changed on this property. They always have been as they are. And again, even realistically at this point, we have Media Luna that is up on the north side of the property, and we have Korea Street that is on the west side of the property. The right side of the property has what is the golf course, or the golf driving range, and behind it is a set of apartments. So the purposes of subdividing, the purposes of platting, is so you can tie the boundaries of the property and space so you can locate them accurately. That's not an issue here for anyone. Nobody is worried that there may be land missing, or more land may have been added or removed in the past years. So for that reason, we're asking that you support our appeal of the denial of the determination certificate and grant us that, because I don't think that the issues that generally arise with subdividing and that nature are present here. We know exactly what this boundary is like. There's no question as to where it ends and where it starts, and there hasn't been a question of that since 1979, when it was originally when the deed essentially was originally drafted the way it was. And as I mentioned, since 1999, we've had a meets and bounds. Those have been in the official records. We are beyond almost, close to more than 30 years of being able to understand what this property looks like. Nobody is fighting the title or fighting for any portion of the land. So for that reason, we would ask that you grant our appeal and grant us a determination certificate. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any.
All right, thanks, Frank. All right. Anybody else? Can I get a
Motion to close public.
I second the motion to close public.
I have a motion from Derek, second from Aaron to close public. I need an action.
I make a motion to support the appeal.
The determination certificate?
Yes, exactly, by Derek Benavides.
I second the motion. Aaron Rendon.
Derek and Aaron have made a motion and a second to approve a determination certificate. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposition? Motion carried. All right.
Thank you,
I think,
Commissioner.
no problem, Frank. I think the next thing on there is adjourn, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Troy makes a motion. Who's the other one? Anybody
Derek
second?
Benavides. Derek Benavides. I'll
Okay,
second.
Derek second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
It went
you,
better
everyone.
than
All right.
it would.
Thank you for coming.
Staff, good job. Good job, Ronald.
Yeah, I think it was better than I thought. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.